Hello YouTube! This video is part of my build series for the 3D printable Jabba's Palace complete with hangar. I am going to build the whole thing. I purchased this massive set of 3D printable files from Massassi for my 3.75-inch or 1:18 scale Star Wars figures. I will include the link in the description below. Today we are going to work on set 4, the side entrance. In this diagram, you can see where set 4 fits into the overall design of the top floor. Set 4 is composed of 3 different sets that connect together. This is the first video of my build of set 4, the side entrance. You can find the videos for sets 1 to 3 in my playlist that I have linked to in the description below. In this video, I will show you my 3D printers and the slicer settings that I used, how to assemble the pieces after you print them, and how much filament this set required. Hint, it was almost 7 rolls. This is my main printer, the Anycubic Cobra 3. It's a nice, beginner-friendly, budget-conscious printer that you can get for a couple of $100. And I use the Anycubic Slicer Next software when I do any slicing. My backup printer is the Anycubic Cobra 2 Pro, which is the first printer I ever bought, so I keep using it so that I can have 2 going at the same time. So far, the only filament that I've been using is from Anycubic, and it's gray PLA, and I buy it from Amazon. I buy it in a box that contains 4 rolls at a time, and this seems to be the cheapest way to get it. So for the filament settings, I made a few changes. Under the filament tab, I decreased the other layers and the first layer print temperature to 200 because it reduces stringing. And I increased the print bed temperature to 63 from 60, which was the default, because it helps with bed adhesion. Here are my cooling settings. And finally, under setting overrides, I enabled retraction so that the nozzle does not hit the print. So the length of 1 millimeter, Z-hop of 1 millimeter, and retraction speed of 50. I had to set those because that was off by default. So for the actual print settings, these are the settings that I use for the quality tab. And I'm just going to show you all of them, and I'll leave it for a second, but I won't go over it. So here's strength, speed, support, multi-material, which the Cobra 3 allows you to print with 4 different colors of filament. So I don't use that. I didn't buy that feature. So it's all turned off. And here's the others tab. The other thing I did that I think is critical and it makes a great difference is I turned on variable layer control. So for all the pieces, I would select the object, I'd click the variable layer height icon, and I'd set it to 0 under adaptive and then click the adaptive button. And then it will print the pieces that need more attention and they have more shapes to them. They'll have a lower layer height, and then the straight up pieces like the bases will have a higher layer height, which prints faster. Finally, for smaller objects or objects that have a lot of detail, I like to slow the printing down to 50 millimeters per second. But then I keep all the rest of the other settings. Here is what it looks like when all the pieces have been printed, and I've organized them into 3 boxes by set. Here you can see that I've started the assembly, and I've glued the 4 pieces of the floor together. And once again, I'm using these pins to join the pieces together, and Massassi's already hooked us up with some holes to attach the pins into, and that helps us align the pieces, and it also helps us to have strength when we glue them. They stay together. And one thing that I'm doing different is I'm using my drill now to drill out the holes first, and you'll see I have a drill bit stop collar on it, so it's set to half the width of the pin so I don't drill too deep, and that makes it a lot easier for me to clean out the holes so that the pins go in and don't get stuck. So I followed Massassi's excellent instructions and completed the assembly step by step. Again, I am using original Gorilla Glue to join the pieces. Here are all the printed pieces for set 4.2. And here is the assembly process. Here are all the printed pieces for set 4.3. And here are some highlights of the assembly process. I held these pieces together with painter's tape while the glue dried. At this point, I've assembled set 4, and I glued 4.1 and 4.2 together, but 4.3 I'm going to leave separate because there's very small holes for me to get in there and do the mortar and painting. I wanted to figure out how much filament I use when printing set 4, so I made this spreadsheet. So every row is a piece. I've divided it by set, 4.1, 4.2, and 3. There's the part, the total filament that was used, and the grand total in hours based on these calculations. To get these numbers, I went to my slicer and sliced each piece. So here's the first one, the floor piece. Before I printed it, I wrote down the numbers. Here you can see the values. So for this one, the total filament was 249.44 grams, and the total print time was 6 hours and 4 minutes. Remember, I'm using the Anycubic Cobra 3 printer, and the slicer software that I'm showing you now is named Anycubic Slicer Next, so your values will vary depending on your settings and your printer. Back to the spreadsheet, if I scroll down to the bottom, you can see that the total was 6.7 rolls of filament and 177 hours of print time. And that concludes this video. In my next video, we will finish the build by filling in the seams, adding mortar to the walls and floor for texture, and painting the set. Thank you for watching my build series video for the 3D printable Jabba's Palace complete with hanger from Massassi. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like and consider subscribing if you want to see more content like this. If you have any other ideas or tips for how to complete any of the steps that I've shown, please leave us a comment below.